Stephen Meade is an American entrepreneur who has taken many companies from startup to successful exit. He joins us today to talk a little bit about the pain of being an entrepreneur, but also the joy. Hi, Stephen.
Carlos, how are you? Good morning. Good to see you as always.
Good to see you too. I know that you've done an awful lot of things in business and you scour the world for opportunities. Tell me what, like, the basic thing that entrepreneurs need to know today.
Well, to me, it's all about passion. I think a lot of times we come up with ideas, and as an entrepreneur, your greatest strength is your greatest weakness. And the greatest strength is, I have an idea, and I have lots of ideas. And at some point you have to decide which one you actually pursue. And what I've done through the years, I developed a 10-step program called a Bullseye Belief System. I give it away for free. Step one is called Design Your Destiny. And that's really, Carlos, trying to determine what you want your output of life to look like. What kind of money you want to make, what kind of people you want to be around. Do you want a company or a business? There are all these differences. And for me personally, I have 10 attributes, and every company I start has to give me the chance of making at least 7 of the 10 come out. So if it works, I have an emotional attachment to the outcome. I just don't know if I'll ever get there and be successful in the ones we start.
Now, this sounds a little bit like different, a little bit Harvard Business School, a little bit of just tried and true, ideas or methodology. A lot of us who started companies, like I helped start BEONDTV, really have no business experience. Do we have any business being entrepreneurs?
Well, and I appreciate the insight there. And the little historical side, Carlos, is when I was 22, I started retail stores in college. I wrote infomercials when I was in my early 20s. When I was 22, I went to work at Travelers Group, selling life insurance, mutual fund, and mortgages on full commission at night.
Wow.
Tough business. But over 6.5 years, I read 357 books. Sales, psychology, motivation. The goal was to read 1 book per week, dissect the elements of what worked, and then just stack skill sets. And so what you'll hear in some of my quote techniques, you're right, it's an amalgamation of thousands and thousands of hours of experience, training 8,000 to 10,000 people over 7 years, but it's also hundreds of books. And one of my favorite sayings, experience is the best teacher. It's also the slowest. and we have so many resources now, TV shows like yours, books, videos, so you can really accelerate your knowledge base as an entrepreneur. And yeah, my techniques are all combinations of other people, and I've just sort of smashed them together in things that work.
I think it's funny when I sometimes peruse TikTok or even YouTube or Instagram, and you see these guys, here are the 3 things you need to do to make $1 million today. And they make it sound like it's so easy. They don't ever say, here are the 3 pain points you're going to have when you start a company.
Yeah. And again, everything with me are these little short sayings and quips. And one of them is I do a lot of entrepreneurial teaching for fun. I don't charge. I'm not a consultant. And I always challenge the entrepreneurs. I say, what's the one question you should ask when you start a business? And people are like, how does it make money? Who's your customer? Where are you going to say? I'm like, no, wrong. In my opinion, the number one question to ask is, why won't this work? I like soliciting negative feedback in a positive framework. If I went to you and said, Carlos, I've got this great idea and I'm so excited, you're going to pat me on the head. Oh, Stephen, we don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. The real world doesn't care about our feelings. Our friends do. So reframing questions saying, hey, why won't this work? What am I missing? Who's my competition? What could I do better? It allows that entrepreneur to solicit the information in a positive framework that allows them to get better. I think that's what we miss a lot. We're surrounded by our friends and the sycophants and the filter bubble and everybody telling us how great we are.
Right.
I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't think it works, but I need to know why it won't work.
Talk about the things that entrepreneurs are so, they're passionate, they're hardworking, they know the pain, they're learning. What's the, at the end of the rainbow, is there a pot of gold?
There might be. Again, this is where people ask me, oh, well, how do you keep doing what you're doing? My comment is I live in a state of peaceful frustration.
Yeah.
Meaning I've designed my step one, design your destiny. I know what it looks like at the end if I get there. It's almost like climbing a mountain. If you can see the view from the top and you're at the mountain and it's beautiful. But getting to the top isn't straight. It's twists and turns. If anybody's ever hiked, it's up and down. And sometimes you think you're at the top and then you get there and then it keeps going. You need to see yourself at the top of the mountain. We just don't know when we're going to get there. But for me, the entrepreneurial and the emotional journey is just as important. I'm trying to do something that nobody in the world's ever done before. I like starting companies that nobody in the world's done, and some have worked, some don't, some are 20 years later, they may or may not, but the emotional journey is there, and that's what's exciting. Entrepreneurs don't always do things for money, but we have to make money along the way.
Well, Stephen, I appreciate so much your advice and your counsel and the good words. How do people get a hold of you?
Some of the information they can see at Stephen Meade. I'm officially known as the Bullseye Guy. It's about being targeted, efficient, focused. How do you get exactly what you want? So the website, thebullseyeguy.com, podcasts, lots of cool videos, all the companies we've started. It's very well organized for a chaotic entrepreneur like myself.
Stephen, thanks so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Have a great day.
Thanks, Carlos.